Hey, it's Matt with Tips for Truckers over here. And today in this video, I'm going to tell you after 1,000,000 miles, does this PACCAR have enough power? Told you, I have 500,000 on this engine. Sounds kind of cheap. Anyway, I have 500,000 on this engine. I had 550,000 on my last PACCAR engine, MX-13. And this video is, does this have enough power to be a proper over-the-road engine? The short answer is yes, but it depends on what you call enough. Now, it's enough to get you going down the road and to pull the hills and all this, and it could go over the road. It's adequate. It's enough. But you hear from drivers all the time, oh, PACCAR's gutless, it doesn't have any power. I gotta say, I've driven Cats, Cummins, and PACCAR, and Volvo, and it doesn't compare. It doesn't compare. Now, top end power, once you get, over 1,400 RPM, yeah, it has enough power. These are rated at 450 horsepower and about 1,500 foot-pounds of torque on this one. Now, 450 horsepower sounds like a lot because you can get a Cat with 425 horsepower, but that's going to have 1,800 foot-pounds of torque. A Cummins, 450 horsepower, 500 horsepower, then they have close to 2,000. And down 50 horsepower doesn't sound like much, but down 500, 300 foot-pounds of torque, that makes a big difference, especially down low. Well, when you're below 1,300 RPM, or even really below 1,400, this thing does not do very well. Now, like I said, if you completely wind it out every time you shift, it'll get you down the road, it'll do fine, and it'll be adequate to get you into traffic, up the hill, with 80,000 pounds, no problem. And it'll do the job, and it gets pretty good fuel mileage. But there's plenty of times where I've been making a left turn, and I will say 100% because of this engine, and a lot of times it just doesn't run right. It creates a traffic hazard, really. Is it worth the extra mile per gallon? Probably, for most guys. I'm not complaining about it. Top end power, it's got enough. It's got as much as the Cummins and the Cat and whatever. But low end, if you bog this down to 1,100, 1,200 RPM, it won't do anything. I'm not even joking with you. It doesn't have anything. Whereas the Cummins, and especially the Cat, especially the twin turbo Acert engine, you could bog that down and wind it up, and it's got a really good power band. Not just top end, it does have enough power, but you really gotta work it. And you miss a shift in this thing, and you might have to downshift another gear to get it back going good. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this engine. Like I said, would I get one? Probably not. I'd probably get a Cat if I was going to get an older engine. If I was going to get a newer truck, probably get an ISX or something like that. 600 horsepower. I would sacrifice the fuel mileage just because those handful of times where you're pulling out in front of traffic and you don't want to get hit. Honestly, it's worth it. It would be worth it to me. And also, I've had a couple issues, as you've seen with my other videos. But yeah, it gets the job done, and that's basically it. It's adequate for the task. It'll get you up and down the mountains and down the road, and that's about all this PACCAR is good for as far as